most guys nowadays are stuck between 400 and 600 nanograms of testosterone, and they can't seem to get out within that range. Now, I used to be lazy, I used to be soft, low motivation, low drive, low ambition, worse muscle gains, everything like that before I started to boost my testosterone. Now, fast forward about a year or two, I'm 16 years old. I'm usually around 900 to 1000 nanograms of testosterone every single day. And this is what caused me to build muscle easily despite not going to the gym much, being hairy as fuck, looking older for my age, being stronger in the gym and building more muscle despite the fact that bodybuilding is not even my main focus. I'm more aggressive, but in a good way. And I just gained a lot more confidence. And this is nothing to do with genetics. The only thing that I had to do is follow a testosterone guide and blueprint to help me achieve the results I want. And as soon as I start hitting the 800, 900, 1000 nanograms of testosterone, my life started to get way better in every single way possible. So the people that do say, oh, testosterone doesn't even matter that much, they are lying to you. It's either they haven't experienced high testosterone themselves or they're lying to you. Because you most likely watching this video, you're probably stuck around 400 to 600 nanograms, and you might have no clue why there's some 40-year-old dads out there with more testosterone than you, despite the fact that you watching this video probably go to the gym, you probably eat more healthy, you probably know about dieting and sleep, and for some reason you're still stuck at average testosterone. Now, this video shows the exact system I used to go from 400 to 1000 nanograms per deciliter. So I basically doubled my testosterone. Now, before we start, I wanted to say I have a whole high testosterone blueprint course made. It's in the top link in description, where I explain the exact detail and blueprint of how to increase your total androgen status, your testosterone, and it's a full system and guide to get to 1000 nanograms per deciliter, because I believe when you're at that point, you're fine. When you're at 900 to 1000 nanograms, life gets way better. And that's exactly what my course shows. Part 1. Why do most men stay stuck between 300 to 500, 600 nanograms per deciliter? Now, we could go on and on and on about the mistakes a lot of men do, including you, on why you don't have high testosterone. And I'm going to name some of the main reasons and key concepts of why you don't have high testosterone. Number 1, I always mention this first, and this is sleep. Now, a lot of people think they're sleeping enough. They think going to bed for 7-8 hours is enough sleep for testosterone. But my friend, you are completely wrong. You need to have at least 8 to 10 hours if you want to have optimal testosterone. And the reason why is because testosterone is produced while you sleep, and more importantly during REM sleep. So not only is it important to have a long duration of sleep, but you need to have good quality of sleep to produce the testosterone that you want. A lot of guys are also inconsistent about their sleep. That's one of the worst things you could do for your sleep quality. One day you sleep at 9 p.m. and one day you sleep at 3 a.m. That's going to fuck up your REM sleep, your quality sleep, and it's just going to be inconsistent for your circadian rhythm. So make sure you're going to bed every single day at a very similar time. Another reason is due to a processed diet. Now, many modern diets out there, and when I say many, 99% of young people's diets are so terrible for testosterone and they just don't understand. A lot of processed food has a bunch of seed oils, omega-6s, they will kill your testosterone levels, and processed foods lack certain micronutrients that are super crucial for testosterone production. And I don't want to get super into it in this video, but basic nutrients like zinc, choline, boron, etc. Now, if you eat a processed diet, you're likely not getting the nutrients you need to make testosterone, like the building blocks, because if you don't have the building blocks, then you can't build a house. There's also endocrine disruptors in your day-to-day life that you might have no idea that you're doing, that is actually destroying your testosterone. Stuff like heavy metals, plastic water bottles, shampoo, cologne. All of these disrupt your endocrine system, mimic estrogen, which is the female sex hormone, which is the opposite we want. So when you have higher estrogen, the symptoms of high testosterone pretty much reverses. So you end up with low motivation, low mood, etc. Now, another one which a lot of young men do, especially now in this generation, is a sedentary lifestyle. And the meaning of sedentary is pretty much not doing anything that is active, physically active. So a typical day for you might be you wake up, drink some water or whatever, sit down and you go on your phone, you watch TV. most likely if you do watch this, you probably do go to the gym, but you don't do much other than that. It's super important to not only exercise, but actually walk and do what a human is meant to do. You can't have high testosterone if you don't tell your body to give you high testosterone. So you need to be walking at least minimum 8,000 steps per day. And a lot of men nowadays are just stuck in their rooms all day, playing video games, watching bullshit on their TV, and they wonder why they have average or low testosterone. And combine that with no competition, no threat for your status, you don't fight, you don't wrestle around, you don't have any competition, even if it's mental competition, your status is never on the line and you're constantly comfortable, then that is just a recipe for you to have low testosterone. Another reason is porn, overstimulation, stuff like that spikes your dopamine so much that you see a drop in baseline, and dopamine and testosterone have this kind of bi-directional relationship where if your testosterone goes up, usually your dopamine also goes up. But if you do destroy your dopamine, then you won't be motivated enough to do the stuff that boosts your testosterone, and it's just a downward spiral from there. So many of you watching this are probably scrolling on TikTok, on YouTube. Let's be real, you're not doing anything productive on there. You're just scrolling up and down. Maybe you went to the gym and think you're productive now, and then you're just fucking yourself up by watching porn, playing video games, scrolling all day. With everything I said, you might not be doing most of these stuff, which is good. You might not be scrolling all day and watching porn. You might not be having a terrible diet. You might be sleeping okay. But if you're missing even one of these things, your testosterone is capped at a certain level and it can't go to the high levels that you want, even with one thing. So it's super important to keep everything consistent. Now in this section, we're going to talk about how testosterone even works, how it is produced, etc. Now, testosterone is produced from the pituitary gland, releases LH, FSH, goes to the testicles, Leydig cells, boom, testosterone. And this happens during REM sleep. Now, what are some stuff that you need to know about testosterone? Now, testosterone, despite being very important as a hormone itself, there's still so many other hormones that is super crucial for testosterone activity. So when you want high testosterone, you want the symptoms of high testosterone, you want a deep voice, you want to be muscular, you want to be confident, you want to be assertive, etc. This doesn't come from having high testosterone by itself. This comes from having high testosterone activity, more specifically, high androgen activity. So there are also certain hormones that either support your testosterone or inhibit it. So you could have high testosterone in the blood, have 1,000 nanograms, and feel the symptoms of low testosterone because your androgen activity isn't good. So this is why I don't really like blood tests. So stress hormone like cortisol. If your cortisol is extremely high, even if your testosterone is high, you're going to feel the symptoms of low testosterone. Testosterone and cortisol have an inverse relationship, where if your cortisol goes up, testosterone goes down. So it's super important to limit the amount of cortisol you have in your body. There's also SHBG, which is sex hormone binding globulin. It basically binds to testosterone and stops from activating. Now, everyone on this planet has SHBG, and actually a very high amount of it for a good reason. But for a lot of people, SHBG might be too high, and that is the reason why you might have high testosterone levels in the blood but still feel like shit. Same as DHT, but DHT actually supports your androgens. DHT is a more potent, meaning more powerful form of testosterone, so it's like a more powerful androgen. So if you have low DHT or if you have high DHT, you might experience different symptoms of testosterone despite testosterone levels being normal. And that's probably the main reason why I look more masculinized for my age. Of course, testosterone plays a key role, but hormones like DHT play an even bigger role, especially during pubertal development. So there's a fucking reason why I grew all this chest hair and shit and beard. A lot of it is due to testosterone and DHT. And you could have the exact same thing. You could be a teenager, 16, 17, 18, 15, watching this video, and you might think, oh, I just don't have the genetics for it. Oh, I'm born to have a baby face. If you click in the link in the description now, if you go check, there's a video on that description showing how I used to look like only 2 years ago, and you will see the state of how I looked like. I literally looked like the definition of a baby face. Non-existent jaw, round head. I was called very cute as a kid, and that's normal, but even during teenage years, that happened. And look at me now. So it's not just about genetics, and you could have the exact same thing. People could actually start to take you more seriously. Now let's dive into the daily things I do to maintain high testosterone, because high testosterone is very taxing on the body. Your body does not like to make high testosterone, so you have to force your body to do it. Daily routine is I wake up, preferably kind of early in the morning. Right now, as I'm recording this, is 8 a.m. But you do not have to wake up this early. So you wake up, do not touch your phone. That is stimulation that will kill your dopamine, that will even destroy your testosterone in indirect ways by increasing your cortisol levels, which I talked about before. I want you to take your top off if it's a hot country or if the season is like this, because right now, even in the UK, it's kind of hot. Take your shirt off, stay in your balcony, walk around for 10 to 30 minutes and just enjoy the sunlight, enjoy the UV rays coming to you. Look at the sunlight. That right there will reset your circadian rhythm to make sure that you have deep, restful sleep at nighttime. And there's a lot of reason why you guys might have shit sleep is because when you wake up, there's no sunlight into your eyes. So your body's natural clock doesn't know when to start because it's trapped inside artificial lights all day. You could even do grounding. Grounding shows to have a lot of benefits if you have a garden and shit like that. Or if you want to go to the next step and just go to the park, then that is also completely fine. Now, the rough diet of a high testosterone man is eating animal-based proteins with high fat, high cholesterol. Now, testosterone is synthesized from cholesterol, as you see here. So without cholesterol, your body cannot actually make testosterone. So what to do instead of that is not eat low cholesterol foods like chicken breast, but instead eat high cholesterol, high fat foods like lamb, pork, beef. You don't have to eat pig. There might be a lot of people watching this that cannot eat pig for whatever reason, for religious reasons or whatever. You could eat beef, you could eat lamb, anything that is high in fat. Oysters, sardines, mackerel, salmon, a powerhouse of nutrition. And ideally, I also get carbohydrates from micronutrient heavy foods. So instead of getting carbohydrates from something like ice cream, I'll get carbohydrates from something like dates, fruits, oranges, because these kind of things have high in carbs, which is very important for lowering SHBG, but are also micronutrient heavy, which supports testosterone production. And a key reason why you watching this might not have high testosterone is because you're either going too much on the vegan side and not eating enough heavy cholesterol food, you're not eating enough steak, you're not eating enough lamb or whatever, and you're eating mainly plant foods. It's either that, or you're going all the way to the other side and you're completely on carnivore and you see these people just eat eggs and just eat beef and they don't touch any fruit. Now, both of these are bad for testosterone in their own ways. Even carnivore diet is bad for testosterone. Now, it may be better than some other diets and it's not a terrible diet, but when you eat carnivore, you're missing out on carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are super important for maintaining your hormonal balance, especially managing your cortisol. So make sure you do eat your carbohydrates. I also sleep 8 to 10 hours per night. If you do not have this, you will have low testosterone. Now, if you miss out one night of sleep, that's not the end of the world. You just go to sleep the next day. But in general, if you're consistently missing out hours on sleep, then that is going to have a very severe detrimental effect on testosterone. Don't think you can watch this whole video, do everything, and sleep 5-6 hours a night and expect to have high testosterone. That's not how your fucking body works. Sleep is a non-negotiable. Now, for training, I do 2 to 3 times a week, depending on the week, resistance training. So that could be legs, pull-ups, full body workouts, compound movements, because it's shown that the more muscles you work with less stability, the higher the testosterone boost. So ideally it's free weights, and let's say you're doing squats, instead of doing a Smith machine, just get a barbell, get 2 dumbbells, do walking lunges, or get kettlebells or whatever, because that's what I do. Instead of doing a machine that works your back, like lat pull down, do pull-ups. So you get my point here. Let's say you do train 2 to 3 times a week, and that might not seem like a lot, but then you go also do stuff that you are in competition. So for example, for me, it's boxing. So I would go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, go to the boxing club 2 times a week, and then I'll mainly work on my cardio and sparring. That is super important. As a high testosterone man, you need to have competition around you, because that is why you got high testosterone in the first place. Like I said before, high testosterone is very taxing on the body. So your body will only make high testosterone if it needs to, if it feels like a need to. So if your status is on the line, you feel threatened, something like sparring, high competition stuff that really engages your mind, your body will start spitting out testosterone to reward you or to help you win that. Because the whole point of testosterone being made is to pass on our genes. And how do you pass on our genes? Be competent at war. Make sure you also walk 8,000 steps a day minimum. And I do the exact same thing. And I see it on the days where I'm more sedentary and I'm at home, I'm kind of still. I see my testosterone literally go down because I start to see the symptoms of low testosterone more and more and more. The more I don't go outside, the more I stay sedentary, the more I live a soft, non-competitive lifestyle. The thing is, I don't even train that hard. You don't have to be one of them people that go gym 6-7 times a week, work 2 hours a fucking session, because that's actually overtraining in the first place, increases cortisol. But also, it's not necessary at all. You could go gym 3 times a week, go do some heavy competition 1-2 times per week, and that's enough. I'm going to quickly talk about supplements because it's one of the most overrated and bullshit things ever. Now, most supplements people are trying to sell you on the internet are complete bullshit. They either do not work, overpriced as fuck, or it will be a testosterone boosting supplement, but it will contain things like zinc. And then you take it and you increase the testosterone, like, wow, this is a very good testosterone booster. Motherfucker, you just fixed your fucking deficiencies that you're meant to get from your diet. So I believe most supplements are bullshit and it's not required at all. There's no need to spend your money on that bullshit when there are a lot of other high ROI stuff that you could do to boost your testosterone. So instead of buying a fucking testosterone booster with fucking zinc and boron in it, why don't you just go eat red meat and eat some avocados? Because you get other nutrients from it as well. But the supplements that do work, the main two, Tonga Ali, I personally never used them myself, but there's a lot of research indicating it does work, so we can't deny the science. Same as ashwagandha, it does this by reducing your cortisol levels. I did take it once before I took a cycle, got off. It did work. I did see a difference, especially if you're during a high stress time and you take it. You definitely do feel better, you sleep better, you have high testosterone, etc. But it's still not required. Even today, I could say I take supplements, but it's stuff like omega-3s, which is just a key nutrient in the first place. But these testosterone boosters are not required for you to have high testosterone, so don't worry. Now, some of the things to avoid if you want high testosterone is being too passive with no competition, living that lifestyle that a lot of, let's say, retired men would do. Let's say you're at home, you get the fucking remote, you're watching some Netflix, there's nothing really going on in your life, no acute stresses, no risk, you're very comfortable, you got your fucking snacks next to you. You see, that is literally a recipe for low testosterone, because your body's thinking, I'm relaxed, I'm comfortable, why do I need to make a bunch of testosterone? Too much cardio, excessive, increases the shit out of your cortisol, which will destroy your testosterone. Stuff like alcohol, weed, vapes. Alcohol, if done excessive, destroys your testosterone. Same as weed, same as stuff like vaping and stuff, destroys your appetite, fucks you up. Don't do any drugs, nothing like that. Now, there are mixed stuff on nicotine, but right now, it looks like there's a correlation between nicotine and high testosterone, not causation. So there's not enough research to back nicotine in general. So I don't recommend it at all, mainly because of the other health risks it has. Excessive ejaculation, if you're constantly fapping to porn, just even to your imagination or whatever, that is going to also destroy your testosterone indirectly. Now, fapping directly by itself, unless done too much, won't cure your testosterone. But what it will do is destroy your dopamine sensitivity. And when your dopamine sensitivity is fucked, you start to not enjoy or feel motivated for things that you used to. And when you start to feel like that, you start to not do them. And when you start to not do them, your testosterone goes down. So no man should be excessively ejaculating, even having sex. Now, having sex boosts your testosterone, don't get me wrong. But if you're constantly ejaculating 3 times a day or something like that, then that's just bad for your testosterone. So the bottom line is, if you want high testosterone, you have to live like someone who's meant to win. That has been the end of the system. I gave you a rough guide on what to do, what things to avoid, what is testosterone, etc. But if you want full detail, if you want the exact blueprint I took to get me from looking like a child, having low motivation, low confidence, low muscle mass, to looking like this at fucking 16 years old and having more motivation and ambition than some grown men, then go check out the link in the description and I'll show you more detail of how I did that and what was my journey through the video there. So I've been researching testosterone for over 2 years now, and there was so much bullshit things I read that I had to go through fucking trial and error. This works, this doesn't. With the course, I filtered out all the bullshit, brought everything together to the 10 testosterone boosting commandments, go in insane detail and action steps for you to do today to boost your testosterone. Not a lot of people will want to go 2 years and research testosterone all day like me. That could primarily be a waste of time unless you're going to monetize it. That's exactly why I made the course. So if you want every single detail for elite testosterone, it walks everything through with you step by step. Now, I'll see you in the next video. Keep grinding, stay strong.